Hello, I am Johnny from Green Herb Gaming, and this is my very amateur review of Sonic Mania. Where Sega failed with Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1 and Episode 2 by delivering a Sonic game that looked, played, and felt like a classic Sonic the Hedgehog game, Sega succeeds with Sonic Mania by delivering an actual Sonic the Hedgehog game that is classic Sonic the Hedgehog. And you can see that the first time you lay eyes on Sonic Mania. Because the graphics, the presentation of Sonic Mania is 100% classic Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm going to be saying that a lot in this review because I can't stress enough the point that Sonic Mania is classic Sonic the Hedgehog. So the graphics and presentation. The graphics are old school Sega Mega Drive pixels. That is how the game is presented. So you know instantly by looking at the game that you are looking back at a classic Sonic the Hedgehog game. Classic pixels from the Sega Mega Drive era. Those are how the graphics are presented to you in Sonic Mania. Now obviously we are living in 2017 and we have HD TVs, and things like 60 frames per second. So you have HD and you have 60 frames per second, but that's just from a resolution point of view. But from a graphical point of view and from a visual point of view, the graphics are presented to you in pixel style classic Sega Mega Drive graphics, and that's how the game looks. How the game plays. The second you pick up your controller and you play you control either Sonic, Tails or Knuckles, because you get to choose who you want to play as in Sonic Mania. You can choose Sonic, Knuckles or Tails, or you can choose to also play as Sonic and Tails as well. But no matter who you choose, the second you control either character, the second you move your character, you know instantly that you are playing a classic Sonic the Hedgehog game. Because Sonic Mania plays just like Sonic 1, Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Sonic Knuckles played. This game is classic Sonic the Hedgehog. Even from the audio. Oh man, the audio. Sonic the Hedgehog has always been known for these very catchy 90s theme songs, soundtrack. And Sonic Mania delivers on that and then some. Sonic Mania is full of catchy 90s music. The Sonic Mania soundtrack will be in your head for weeks to come. Oh my god. The game is just full of these catchy soundtracks. Oh man. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Sonic Mania is 100% classic Sonic the Hedgehog from its graphics to its gameplay to its audio. Now I'll move on to the zones, the levels in Sonic Mania. And there's a lot of them. There's 13 in total. There's 13 zones in total, but the 13th zone is basically a hidden zone that you can only unlock by collecting all of the Chaos Emeralds. Sorry, I wanted to explain that properly. Sorry about that. So there's basically 12 main zones in Sonic Mania, and then the 13th and final zone is only unlocked by collecting all of the Chaos Emeralds. The zones are fantastic. They're absolutely amazing. Probably the best zones of any Sonic game I've ever played. They're so detailed, they have such specific themes, they're very fun to look at and play. Absolutely amazing zones. You've got so many brand new zones that has never been seen before. Because let me just point out one thing: Sonic Mania is not a port or a re-release of like Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic Knuckles. You know, it's not some sort of HD visual update of an older Sonic game. This is a brand new Sonic game. So we've got brand new zones. Zones like Mirage Saloon, which is it's designed like a classic Western movie. You know, so you've got like the deserts and cowboy guns, which is actually a highlight of the game for me. There's parts in the zone where you jump into these giant cowboy guns and they shoot you across the zone. That's just fantastic. So it's just specific themes. You've got Studiopolis, if I'm pronouncing the zone correctly. It's designed like a TV production studio type thing, and there's even a cool little scene where you get to see like this kind of this video, this kind of old school like video of Dr. Robotnik, and he's dancing around. It's kind of hard to describe that, but it's these fantastic zones that have such specific themes, like the theme of the like Western type desert in Mirage Saloon, and the like TV production studio theme of Studiopolis. So you've got fantastic zones, brand new zones, but you also have remixed zones of classic zones from Sonic 1, 2 and 3. You're talking about a remixed Green Hill zone, remixed Chemical Plant zone, remixed Oil Ocean, I think it's what it's called, from Sonic 2. You know, the oil zone from Sonic 2. Well, they're all remixed in Sonic Mania. They just have like, new areas, new enemies. Oh, man, they're just so remixed. They're fantastic. The bosses have been changed as well. Just such a fantastic remix of classic Sonic zones. So the zones are absolutely amazing. There's 13 in total, 12 main zones, and the 13th zone can only be activated by collecting all of the Chaos Emeralds. Sorry, I talked way too much about the zones, but they're fantastic, and there's a lot of them. New zones and remixed classic zones. The bosses, oh my god, the bosses are just fantastic. They're challenging, they're fun, they're creative. Just like with the zones, I think Sonic Mania has some of the best bosses in the entire Sonic the Hedgehog series. One that comes to mind is the boss in, I think it's actually Chemical Plant zone remix. I'm not too sure of the exact zone, but it's very early on in the game anyway. The boss, and I'm not joking, the boss is actually Dr. Robotnik, Mean Bean Machine. You're actually having a game of Mean Bean Machine as a boss. You have to defeat Dr. Robotnik, and you know that game, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially pure type game, like where you have to like drop down these kind of like colored blobs. You have to match them, a bit like Tetris kind of a thing. Look it up. Look it up. But for anyone who knows what I'm talking about, is going to be as excited as I am. That's an actual boss in one of the zones in Sonic Mania. An actual Dr. Robotnik Mean Bean Machine battle. Fantastic. That's an actual boss. Some fantastic bosses. And now I want to talk about the replay value of Sonic Mania. I mentioned the fact that you can play as either Sonic, Tails or Knuckles. So what that allows you to do is it allows you to take advantage of each character's specific moveset. Like Sonic has his spin dash, obviously, and he's got this like kind of like diving spin as well. I can't remember the exact name for it, but if you jump and hold the jump button when you're up in the air, he kind of drops back down and automatically does a spin dash. Tails obviously can fly, so that will allow him to go up to high areas and like fly over pits, so you don't have to worry about falling. Knuckles obviously has the ability to climb and punch. So, like, if you complete Sonic Mania with Sonic, like there's an incentive to go back and play it with Tails and Knuckles, because you might get to areas you couldn't get to with Sonic. So plenty of replay value in that area. And also, I mentioned briefly about Chaos Emeralds. I think there's 7 Chaos Emeralds in total, 7 or 8. They're very, very hard to collect, because first of all you have to find the special stages in each zone, and they're very, very hidden. They're big massive golden rings that you must jump into, and as I said, they're very well hidden. When you do find them and you enter the special stage, you then have to chase after a UFO. Yes, an actual UFO. And you collect the Chaos Emerald, and there's 7 or 8 of them in total, and so that gives you a lot of replay value. Going over these zones again, try to find all these special stages and collecting all the Chaos Emeralds so you can unlock the final 13th zone. There's also the classic blue sphere minigame in there as well. And if you have 30 or 40 rings and you pass through the checkpoint, jump into it, and you that's when you start playing the classic blue sphere kind of mini game. And when you collect all the blue spheres, you then collect this like kind of like silver medal. There's lots of them actually. I haven't counted, but there's lots. There's like well over 20. So I still haven't figured out what they do. I haven't looked it up online because I don't want to spoil it for myself. But I presume that's going to like unlock something. And even if you go to extras in the main menu, there's lots of question marks for the various modes. So I presume there's lots of unlockables in the game. So there's plenty of replay value. So in summary, Sonic Mania is classic Sonic the Hedgehog. It is the game that so many people have wanted for so long. It's classic in terms of its graphics, gameplay, audio. It's got plenty of new zones to keep the game fresh. It's got plenty of remixed classic zones to keep the nostalgia flowing. It's fun to look at. It's fun to play. It is just, the only way I can summarize it is that it's just 100% classic Sonic the Hedgehog. I would give this game, this is my first review now, and I mentioned the fact that it's an average review. You know what? I just think it nails it. I just think it nails it. Like 10 out of 10. I know, like, you might say, "Oh God, this is such an average review." Like, you know, you're just giving it 10 automatically. I genuinely, like, I can't find a fault. I genuinely can't. Like, this, it 10 out of 10 for me personally. 10 out of 10, and it is €20. I think it's $20 as well. It is so cheap. It is so cheap for a fantastic product. You can also get the special edition, which you are looking back at right now. Sorry, the collector's edition, where you get a 12-inch classic Sonic statue standing on a Sega Mega Drive replica. I did a video of this actually, so watch the video. I'm being an asshole now. Watch the video if you want to hear more about that. You can look it up online as well. But yeah, sorry, that's been my extremely amateur and poor review of Sonic Mania. Somebody should review my review. I don't think that the score will match my score of Sonic Mania. But nonetheless, I really have enjoyed playing Sonic Mania. And I plan on playing more of it because I have a lot more Chaos Emeralds to collect. I'm not finished with the game, but I have so much to do in that game, actually. I think it's a fantastic... I mean, I grew up playing Sonic. Sonic was my first game I ever played. And it's just great to see, a true return to classic Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic Mania... This is my summary. I have it now. Sonic Mania is essentially... If the Mega Drive had released in 2017, where HD TVs were a thing, this is the game that we would be playing. That's all I can say. I really had fun playing it. I would highly recommend Sonic Mania, not just to long-term Sonic the Hedgehog fans, but to anybody, really. It's just a fun platforming game. So I would recommend the game to anyone. And again, I would give it 10 out of 10, 100%. So that's been my extremely amateur review of Sonic Mania. Went on a bit longer than expected, so my apologies about that. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more episodes of Green Herb Gaming.